When did you say, hey, I think I could make money doing this? This is Business Under Fire podcast. I don't know what episode it is, but I am glad you're here. It's Josh White with Morale Patch Wine Company. So thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
We're going to pick your brain for the next hour and a half. And I need you to take it easy on me because I don't think I've done a podcast like in 3 weeks or a month.
Okay.
We started this podcast to, pick the brains of entrepreneurs and get their stories and what they've been through, their ups and downs. And it's been a badass time. Have you listened to any of them?
Yeah, I have. The first one I listened to, your buddy who flew in on a PC-12?
He had a TBM 960.
TBM, okay.
Yeah.
That thing was clean.
Ryan the Lion.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm glad he came in. He has a one hell of a freaking story too.
Yeah.
And you guys, the Airforce pilots, whether you know it or not, I've looked up to Airforce pilots my whole life. And what is your position? Give us a rundown of your Air Force life.
Yeah, so I guess my Air Force military aviation career started with my father. So he was a Army Huey pilot, medevac, post-Vietnam, pre-Gulf War. So kind of the glory days of being a pilot in the Army, I think.
Could you imagine being a Huey pilot and they say, congratulations, you're a Huey pilot, you're going to Vietnam?
Woof. And I've heard some pretty incredible stories because when my dad went to pilot training, guess who all his instructors were?
Oh my gosh.
All these badass Vietnam dudes that came back. And so, instead of reading Dr. Seuss books at night, he was telling me all these incredible stories. And so that's kind of where I built the passion for military aviation in general.
Yeah.
Some pretty cool stories. Even though he wasn't no wartime stories, there's still, as a medevac dude in the Army, all their exercises and just flying, map of the earth, super low. So that's kind of how I fell in love with aviation. He took me GA flying when I was about 12.
So he got into the civilian side also?
Yeah, so when I was about 10 years old, he separated the Army and went to do some network engineering stuff, some nerdy stuff, but he still had the itch to fly. And so he would take me up to see if I wanted to pursue that or not.
Yeah.
Which is wild at such a young age.
Yeah.
To introduce me to it. And of course I fell into it. Not only looking up to my father as a mentor, as my hero, but also falling in love with it is incredible. So, so fast forward, go through high school. I lose the vision a little bit, right?
For aviation?
Yeah. I get a girlfriend, just partying.
Where'd you grow up?
So right outside Nashville.
Hendersonville,
Tennessee. So I just lost the vision of the career, the path, everything. And by the time I realized I needed to get everything in line, it was kind of too late. It was junior year in high school. And my dad saw it coming. And, we had that conversation. You still want to be an airline pilot? Yeah. Well, you got two choices.
Yeah.
You go to community college because you can't get in a decent university, or you enlist. And I was like, well, both those suck. And he's like, yeah.
You did this to yourself.
You did it to yourself.
It's crazy what the scholastics has to do with your future. And they're usually the earlier days of scholastics, like, if you would have been doing good in your sophomore and junior year, you kind of might have let off the gas. I've seen that a lot with the doctors, the lawyers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened?
So I felt like whether I went to an airline pilot or not, I felt like I would enjoy more enlisting and serving like my father than going into community college and maybe getting into UT, which was the dream.
Yeah.
And at the time, my best friend Scotty, he was enlisting to the Army. So I'm like, you know what? Let's just do this. Let's see what happens. We were actually supposed to enlist together in the Army. there's like this buddy program where you could enlist together.
I think that's a trick.
It's not a trick, and it almost worked. And the last second, we didn't sign any documents. I'm like, yeah, dude, let's do this. We're going to be Army Rangers. We're going to just all the things. The last second, I asked him, what's the probability that I can be a pilot in the Army?
Yeah.
He said 0.0001%.
Oh, shit.
I was like, dang, I'm not good at math, but that ain't going to work for me. And Scotty's like, he's like, chill out, dude, you're fine. We're still doing this, right? I'm like, yeah. Well, all the recruiting offices, you got Army, Navy, Marines, all the things. So as we're walking out, I was like, hey man, I'll catch up with you later. And I zigged and zagged to the Air Force recruiter. And I was like, hey, I just talked to the Army guy. He said, I have a 0.001%. What is my shot in the Air Force? And he's like, I give it about a 1%.
Oh my gosh.
So you saying I have a chance? So I was like, where do I sign? And I was 17 at the time. So I still needed my father's permission, parents' permissions and all that. And so I enlisted. I said I want to be around airplanes. And so they made me a crew chief, which is a mechanic on the RC-135.
Yeah.
So it's a reconnaissance aircraft out of Offutt, Nebraska, right outside Omaha. And so did that for 4 years. And
what part of the plane you work on? Airframe, power plant, or they do all of it?
So the crew chief is a jack of all trades, master of none. So we are assigned to an aircraft and we just make sure all the inspections are good. If something engine related, specific, we get a jet troop out, avionics, hydro, fuels. So we were just kind of managing the aircraft. And we did all the preventative maintenance and small things. But
at what, 20 years old you're doing this by that time, or 19?
At the time I was 18 knocking it out.
Dang.
And but every time you go to a new squadron, your squadron commander will do a meet and greet. Will sit down with you, right? And they ask you, they pretty much tell you their expectations, what your job's going to be, and then they let you go at it.
I'm at a point right now where you said expectations. And what are the expectations that they're setting for you at this time?
Yeah, as a young 18-year-old, not knowing which way is up, it's discipline. It's the foundation of every professional in any field, right? It's being professional, being on time, like I said, discipline, and then going above, right? So there's this average line, and at some point you have to separate yourself or...
Man, I was just listening to a guy today, this morning when I get up, and it was everybody's mediocre, right?
Yeah.
They all want to get to that line.
Right.
But that's the most they want to do. And nobody wants to go past the line. If you got sales calls and your boss says make 20, well, we're going to make 19 or 20, right? Nobody's going to make 22, 23, 25. And so you make a good point to go just a little bit further. And I told people in my landscaping career, I go, look, it's not when you finish. It's the 5 or 10 extra minutes you're going to take to make this thing perfect that's going to make us shine. Yeah. And that's one of the things we're dealing with right now in our companies is the bare minimum. And I'm getting really tired of the bare minimum and the expectations. So your boss made it clear that the bare minimum is not going to work.
Right. And she also, she set the expectation, right? Getting to the bare minimum is a lot of work, but that extra, what you're talking about, 5 or 10 minutes feels like double the work. And I think that's why we settle at that. It's just the easy button and mission accomplished.
Yeah.
And then she asked me, what do I want to be? And what's my future in the Air Force? Do I want to do 4 years and get out, go use my GI Bill, or do I want to make this a career 20 years? And at the time, I didn't know. What I did know is I want to be a pilot. And she kind of smirked a little bit. 18-year-old, just watched Top Gun, I'm ready to fly. She was like, well, get in line, because I guess the last 10 guys that came in to do this meet and greet said the same.
Well, when you went into the service and wanted to be a pilot, it was probably, what year was that?
2004.
And September 11th had just happened. So the pilot job market in the civilian world was not very good. And I'm guessing that anybody that wanted to be a pilot was kind of flooding the military world at that time.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I've never thought of that side of it. I only thought about the civilian because I wanted to fly for the airlines as well. But 2001, 2002, you're not getting a job with the airlines.
Right. And the same thing happened during COVID.
Yeah.
Or, 2000. It's almost every 10 years something hits, right? So she said, and I'm like, I'm pretty serious. I've flown and, but these are just words, right? Like I got to prove, because, on the civilian side, if you want to go to the Air Force Academy, you have to get something from like a senator, an appointment letter approving you. But when you're enlisted in the Air Force, your commander has to approve it, your wing commander. So there's different approval processes. So before she puts me in front of the group commander, before the group commander puts me in front of the wing commander, I have to prove to them that I have what it takes to make it through. So she gave me this big old list, and some of it was just ridiculous. It took me 1.5 years to do it. I mean, I had to redo my whole resume because I just, screwed it off in high school.
Yeah.
So I did it, and I retook my ACT, SAT, volunteered, took classes, and then even the small thing. There were some things on there that she would make me sweep out the hangars on the weekend, and this hangar held a KC RC-135, and there are 10 of them, and it had to be on the weekend. So I was kind of pissed off at the time, but looking back, I get it. Like, how bad do you want this?
Yeah.
And so I just did it. I just put my head down. I was telling my dad about it, and he's like, "Yeah, you just knock it out."
Dude, they just do that to wash you out.
Yeah.
Which is a great demonstration for what you're probably learning about working for yourself too.
Dude.
Nobody wants to sweep a hangar with what's the wingspan on a RC-135?
Oh, man, that's a good question.
What is there? 100?
Oh, yeah.
So you got
easily.
1,000-foot wide hangar.
Yeah.
Easy. By who knows how deep.
Yeah.
But
times 10.
I feel like, and we'll get to that on your wine business, on what even that simple task has taught you, doing things you don't want to do.
Yeah.
So continue down that path on what it is, because I'm unfortunately an aviation buff, so I love these stories, whether they're with business or
for sure
aviation.
So after 1.5 years of, I guess, proving myself and for her to put her stamp of approval, she's like, all right, now it's just a waiting game. And so probably 2 or 3 weeks later, I get an envelope. I was living in the dorms, and I go back to my dorm room all by myself. I open up the letter, and then I closed it. I'm like, at this time, I'm about to test for staff sergeant, which is E5. And so I'm at this fork in the road. I'm about to be an E5 with a lot of responsibility and debatably, a lot more pay, or I'm going to the Air Force Academy, which is a whole different animal, right? I open it up, and I'll never forget it. Airman White, we're sorry to inform you that you're not competitive for the Air Force Academy. And I just like crumbled it up, and I threw it over my shoulder and missed the trash can. I just sat there for like an hour. I was like, man, this 1.5 years, So I'm like, whatever. I get ready. Now I'm testing. I'm studying to test for staff, and this is kind of my path. I've kind of accepted it for now. And about a month later, so every morning in a crew chief environment, we stand at attention. It's like a roll call, right? And so the pro soup comes out, and he tells us what we're working on, what aircrafts are flying for today. And all of a sudden I see the commander, she walks in. And she only walks in when there's some shit going down, like only bad things. And so everyone kind of gets, a little bit tense. And she even said, she's like, I know I'm normally in here. It's like if someone got a DUI or something. And I know I'm only in here when there's trouble, but I want to, today is a good thing. And I want to be the first to congratulate Airman White. And I'm like, what? And so she asked me to come up front. She said, take a good look at this guy, because one day he could be your boss. And everyone just started booing me. Crew chiefs are a little different, and we were a pretty tight group. And like, no way in hell this guy's gonna be our boss. I'm telling the pound sand. And she says, Airman White got accepted to the Air Force Academy preparatory school.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the hell is prep school? And so shook her hand, congratulations, did more research, and it's a year program at the Air Force Academy that gets you ready for the big leagues, the 4 years. So that was an incredible, I still have a shot.
What a day.
I know. It was incredible. So
Out of the blue.
totally out of the blue. I had no idea. And now,
How did she get wind of it?
she got an email from my wing commander. So apparently, I didn't know this. If you apply for the Air Force Academy, you don't get it. She put me in. If he doesn't get the Air Force Academy, put him in for the prep school. And I was good enough to get into the prep school. So, and I wasn't truly aware of it. Not that I remember anyways.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I call my dad. I'm like, dude,
Damn.
I got into prep school. And he's like, I knew you would, man. Now get to work. You know, it was the most nonchalant. I was expecting him to be like, no way, your dumbass got into it. But he was calm and cool. And he's like, all right, get to work. So go to the prep school, knock it out. And it's such a blessing because there's no way I would have made the Air Force Academy if I didn't go through this 1 year. There's no way.
Yeah.
I never took Calc 2, Trig, Chem, engineering classes. And it was structured just like the Air Force Academy. At PT, everything. And it was funny because the Air Force Academy was like up on this big hill. And we were like the little peasants. And so every morning PT, we were just looking up at it like, damn, one day we taught every morning.
I don't even know. I'm terrible at math. Are you good at math or no?
No.
How the flip do you pass calculus and calculus 2?
One good thing about the Air Force Academy, prep school, Air Force Academy, is there is a wealth of help, whether it's your peers or your professors. And the hardest thing is time management. I couldn't do every assignment. So I just had to pick the big dogs and then work my way down. And what I didn't finish, I didn't finish. Sleep was more important.
I was always worried about, that's why I never went in the Air Force to try to fly, because my math is just when they have X and Y. But in what's crazy is if we do weight and balance calculations, time to climb, this, that, everything with airplanes, I'm like, I got it.
That's all the math you need, man.
I know, but the calculus and all that other stuff, I'm like, shh, not me.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I was a C student all through high school. I think grit is the most important aspect of that whole program.
Yeah.
Like you can, if you stay clean, you don't get in trouble, and you surround yourself with incredible support.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I had to study 15 more hours a week than the average student because they're all Ivy League type of people. You can make it, and a lot of luck. So
yeah.
So sophomore year, met my wife at a romantic bar downtown Colorado Springs. Finally make it through. Almost washed out 3 times because of grades, but kept going. Had people looking out for me. And senior year, we call first year, found out that I got my pilot slot. And looking back to prep school, if I didn't go to prep school, I still think I had a decent shot of graduating, but there's no way in hell I'd have got my pilot slot. And so graduated. That week was wild. I ran a marathon May 20th, graduated May 23rd, and then got married May 28th.
That is a busy week.
Busy week. We just knocked it all out, get it over with. and then I started pilot training at Pensacola with the Navy nerds.
How'd you go? Do they send the Air Force guy with the Navy nerds a bunch?
They used to. It was like this joint training program.
Yeah.
And it was pretty sought after because you're on the beach.
Did you get to land on an aircraft carrier?
No.
That would have been cool.
No, that's like, we were just doing phase 1. There's phase 2. There's phase 3. That's probably like phase 4, top 1% of the Navy.
Oh.
I'm guessing. I'm throwing that out there. But yeah, no, just on simulators. That's the best. But so you train with the Navy, and they do things totally different, not better or worse, just different. But right before we were about to start flying, 2014 happened, and budget cuts came trickling down, and they kicked out all the Air Force dudes.
Oy.
And then they shipped us to all the other 3 Air Force bases, and I went to Vance Air Force Base, which is in Enid, Oklahoma.
Yeah. They roll down to Lubbock a lot.
Yeah.
I always see the T6s down at Lubbock Arrow.
Yeah, Del Rio comes up.
Yeah.
You see the XL.
Yeah.
And then where we're at Randolph, we go up to Lubbock too. So
Yeah. Well, and then they moved you finished your, what do they call that, initial pilot training?
yeah, undergraduate pilot training, UPT. So you finish that, and then I did pretty well through T6s, but I got humbled real quick in T1s.
Did you have your private pilot license at the time that you started flying the T6s?
Yeah.
Did that help a ton?
It helped me to a point. I was even on the flying team at the Air Force Academy. So I kind of went in a little cocky as far as the flying aspect.
Yeah.
But the T6 is the great equalizer. I mean, everybody just gets hammered. But I made it through without hooking any check rides. Still probably like middle, bottom third of my class. And then I go to the T1s, and it's all instrument flying. I didn't do instrument flying, and it's very complex. Beechcraft, I forgot the civilian terminology of it.
It's a Beach Jet 400.
Beach Jet 400.
Yeah, Beechcraft 400, but they call it a Beach Jet.
Okay.
I tell people learning to fly instruments is like trying to learn French when you speak English.
Yep.
It's just a completely different ball game. And I remember the
Absolutely.
early days of it when you're learning, you're going, and then no autopilot.
Yeah.
And so the talking on the radio and programming and then flying an approach, and you're just going, how the hell?
Reading approach plate.
I know.
Yeah.
Like approach plate is like French.
Yeah.
And you're going, how in the world are we going to get this? And I was flying it in a 172 at 100 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are flying it at what, 160, 180?
Our approach speed is 120.
Oh, that's better, but still not it's a lot better to learn going slow than hauling butt.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
They don't teach any instrument stuff in the T6.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's just, a lot of it, that we probably could have gotten an instrument rating out of the T6, but I don't know if it was the automation, the managing of the FMS, managing the T1. I just wasn't ready for it. And I got absolutely destroyed in the T1s, but made it through. And in 2014, I dropped KC-135 to Spokane, Washington.
Cool.
Yeah.
Were you excited about that?
I was, man.
Or you wanted to be a fighter pilot?
Yeah, I did at first, and it changes. It changed like every day.
Do all the pilots going in want to be fighter pilots, or some are like, no, I want to fly tankers?
Yeah, some of them are just like, I want to be heavy dude, and I want to go to the airlines.
Yeah.
And some guys from day one are like, I want to be a fighter pilot, or I'm out, kind of thing.
Oh.
All or nothing. And then there's everybody in between, like me, who loves the idea of being a fighter pilot, but knows after going through it and getting humbled real quick, I was nowhere close to that.
I always like a guy in the right or left seat with me, though. And the fighter pilots,
That's another
can
thing.
you imagine being over a foreign country? You don't know anybody, and it's just you.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you got your wingman there, but
Yeah, they're always in formation. But those are the type of people. I mean, they're type A. A lot of them are type A. It's harder for them to communicate of telling someone else to do something, and they just rather do it themselves. It's just different personalities, different.
Yeah. Well, once you started flying the KC-135, how long of a tour did you do on that thing? And for people that don't know, what is a KC-135?
So the KC-135 is a 707 that was an airliner that a general purchased and turned it into an air refueler.
So it's a big, gigantic airplane that holds how many gallons of fuel for the other airplanes?
We can put in around 180,000.
Oh my God.
I mean, it is.
What kind of weight is that? Like a max takeoff weight on that thing?
Like 300.
That's a big plane.
Yeah. But I mean, it's all relative. I mean, look at a C5, which is double, triple that, the C-17. But yeah, it's a lot of gas. And we burned about 10,000 pounds per hour. So we can be up there. If we didn't offload any, right, we'd be up there for 18 hours.
Golly.
And some of the tankers had air refueling capability, and so they could refuel each other and stay up longer.
I never knew that.
Yeah. There are certain missions for that.
So you've had a career in the Air Force, and then what started happening during this time while you're bored up there in a 135 when you're not refueling, that you started kicking around the idea of opening your own business? And how'd you narrow it down to what you're doing now? How long were you pondering this for?
So it started off in real estate. And so after pilot training, we bought our second house, and it's hilarious. We bought it for like $189,000 in Spokane. I think it's worth like $450 now.
Y'all still have it?
No, we sold it a couple years ago.
Good. And
so did pretty decent with that. But I was able to see this whole mindset of leveraging and leveraging debt and see it work out a few times. And I was still considering going to the airline, so I was figuring out some side hustle I can do in correlation and have my own little thing, right? It was the coolest thing to create my own LLC on LegalZoom.
Mm-hmm.
Just have all these cards I'm just handing out to people that don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I got the itch for doing my own thing. And I got into multifamily a little bit, like 12-plex, 10-plex, and I didn't like how impersonal.
Did you buy those, or what was your experience with those?
Yeah, we bought them. The money that on the first couple houses that we were kind of house hacking, we sold and then 1031 into those. And the whole point was to find something we can add value to, right? The bones, location, standard real estate stuff. And it was in Georgia. One of my crew chief buddies found a couple of spots, so purchased it, just a normal loan, and it went okay.
Rehabbed them?
Yeah, a little bit, just lipstick on it.
Yeah.
You know, repaved. I think one of them we put a roof on, but we went door to door, and he would ask like people, what the previous owners, what did they screw up, and or what could they have done better, and then we did our best to try to make it better in the budget that we had.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, COVID happened, and, you know, everything started turning around for me. The plan, the processes that we were using wasn't really working out that well.
You just didn't hit a home run on the apartments, or what?
No.
I mean, that happens a lot though, but you got to have just what you're saying, the grit.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't hit a home run. If I use the example of the landscaping that I've done, I mean, we've done landscape jobs we lost a fortune on.
Yeah.
We've done them that we made, you know, great money on, and everywhere in between, and done thousands of them. I've done hundreds of house rehabs, and some you do great. And everybody that is not an entrepreneur, that's a wantrepreneur and has these big dreams, they see the money at the end of it, or they see what the sale price was or the revenue. Like, dude, these guys are freaking killing it.
Yeah.
And you're here to say, well, that's not what happened to us. And
No.
that's the same story with a lot of people, but you get better at it.
Yeah.
You know where you messed up, unless you're an idiot.
Yeah.
But you get better at it. You learn what budget items can work and don't work, and then you start seeing the deals. And when I go into a deal now, it's not what I'm not looking at what we can do. I'm looking at what can screw us. It's everything. I'm looking at what's going to bite me, what's
Right.
going to bite me, as opposed to looking at what we can do.
Yeah.
So,
I like that.
but you had a good experience. You're glad you did that, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, if I didn't, you know, those were easy lessons to learn.
Mm-hmm.
100%. And I'm not saying I'm not going to make a mistake moving forward, but there are one or two things that I will not make that mistake again. I just won't do that deal.
You got burned already.
I won't force it.
Yeah.
And so moving forward a couple of years, so leaving Spokane, went down to Del Rio. We were ready to start a family.
Beautiful Del Rio.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Loved it there. But I was done deploying. I did 6 deployments. I spent, in my 20 years in the Air Force, probably 3 years in the Middle East.
Dang.
And that's no way to really, I don't regret any of it.
Yeah.
But there's no way I can raise a family.
Yeah.
So that's the trade-off of beautiful Spokane down to Del Rio.
That's two completely opposite places.
Yeah, a complete 180, but it's a different mission. Now I'm an instructor training the future aviators for the Air Force, the future of the Air Force, which is probably the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
Taking them from 0 flight time to signing them off.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and then to watch them, from T6s, you track T1s or T38s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes there's only 1 or 2 T38 slots, and to see the kids that actually work their ass off to get that, dude, it's an incredible feeling. And I'm still getting emails today, F-35 dude, F-16
nice.
guy. It's pretty incredible. I've never had an email from a KC-135 dude, except for my friends that are saying, you should have went to Delta. We're making bank right now. Those are the only emails I'm getting.
I just read the average airline pay right now is $228,000 a year. And if you were there for 10 or 15 years and you're flying, some of these guys are making $400,000-$800,000 a year, which is nuts.
Easy
To do an easy job. I told you the only time flying is difficult is when the weather's shitty. That's when we earn our paychecks,
Even then, these things fly themselves.
I know.
0-0 fully auto landing, and they're only working 6 to 8 days a month. Some of them. It's crazy.
Well, I missed that boat, so it is what it is. But there's still opportunities. So you're going over from you're still currently teaching in the T6, but you're teaching instructor pilots now, aren't you?
Correct. Yeah.
And then when did you decide that you were going to start dabbling in more entrepreneurial stuff?
So once I realized that we wanted to stay in Texas, so my wife is from Abilene. When we first got married, I said, the first 10 years, you have no say where we go. But the next 10 years, wherever you want to go, we'll plant the flag, and she wanted to come back to Texas. And of course, being a Tennessee boy, I kind of want to go back to Tennessee, but it's pretty similar.
It really is.
It really is. And I felt at home real quick here.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw my cowboy boots and my Wranglers. I'm ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided I was going to get out. I got out October 24, and her parents were going to move down to Texas. And so I asked him, I'm like, hey, man, you want to get into anything? I'm still on the fence of going to the airlines, which is not a bad backup plan. I got hired with the reserves, so I fly 6 days a month with the Cobras, which is an amazing opportunity.
Is that air refueling still?
No, it's a T6. It's at Pitt. So my previous unit was the 559th Billy Goats, active duty. Then the Cobras, the 39th, are right down the hallway.
Ah.
So I know all the people. I'm flying the same aircraft.
Ah.
I just trade out patches, and I'm a part-time instructor. So I still get to scratch that itch.
Yeah.
But now I can focus on what I'm really passionate about, my business. So, and also, I'm not making enough money for any type of insurance. So it helps with insurance and a little bit of pay. So that's nice. So he asked, what do you want to do? At that point, I wasn't even thinking wine.
Yeah.
I've always loved wine. I was kind of a bourbon nerd for a while, and a buddy gave me an amazing bottle of wine, and it changed my life. I was like, wow, this is incredible. So I'm not a snooty wine drinker. I'm just the average dude that knows the wines that I like.
Yeah.
So my mother-in-law, she's really good at events. She was a interior decorator. So I'm like and he's a project manager. So I'm like trying to see like where all our strengths are. And I was like, what about like a wedding venue? Why don't we check out a wedding venue? So we initially started looking for wedding venues. We couldn't find anything in our price point, or it was just trash. Like no one would even use it for a wedding venue.
I've heard a lot of wedding venue owners say that it's just not worth it. And then everybody who's never done it is always like, oh, the wedding venues make a killing.
Yeah.
And every wedding venue owner that I've met, which is maybe 5 or 7 of them, say, look, I just can't sink enough money into this. Like,
right.
It's always trying to be better or the best. And so none of those guys have enjoyed their wedding venue entrepreneurial journey. Maybe somebody will come in and tell me different, but so far I haven't heard it. It's all, I mean, it's never done. It's constant improvement.
Right.
So you guys scratch the wedding venue off the list, and what'd y'all guys decide?
Well, before we scratched it off, our realtor Jackie said, "Hey, come out to this one property. Just walk it with me. I'm not going to tell you anything about it, and we'll go from there." So, random Tuesday, drove out there, and I'm driving up Stonewall, Texas, right outside Fredericksburg, and I see there's vines as we're coming through the driveway. I'm like, "What the hell?" Go up. There's a tasting room. It's right on the Pedernales River. It's beautiful, and so drive up, meet Jackie, and I'm like, "Why are we at a vineyard?" She was like, just wait. So walked the whole property, went down to the river, and man, just immediately fell in love. I was blown away by it. It was as hill country as it could get. It was just natural beauty. It wasn't a blank check tasting room. You know, it wasn't a $10 million building. The tasting room itself is the homestead house of the previous farmers that they renovated. The old barns there. It was just raw beauty. And so I called Mark, my father-in-law. I said, "Hey, man, what do you think about a vineyard?" And he's like, "You're out of your damn mind. You drink wine, a lot of it.
Yeah.
You don't know shit about wine." I was like, I know. Just hear me out. So I flew him out, flew everybody out. We walked the property, same thing. They were like, "Oh, man. How do we make this happen?" Yeah.
Dang.
And also, we could incorporate some type of event, wedding venues.
For sure.
But now we have different sources.
Yeah.
We're not just stuck on that. So, yeah, one thing led to another. It was very organic. So we didn't have a winemaker. We needed a wine consultant. And we needed.
Are those easy to find?
Good ones, yeah. I think so.
And Stonewall, for people that don't know, is in Fredericksburg, which is a huge. Can you describe Fredericksburg a little bit on the wine scene?
Yeah, I mean, Fredericksburg is the wine country of Texas. It's a huge wine scene. I think there's within, I don't know, 20 miles, maybe 80 wineries.
Yeah.
Texas has just now taken number 2 in economic impact
Dang.
in the wine industry, right under California.
Jeez.
So they beat out Washington, Oregon, New York, Virginia, all these other places.
So it's a wine hub.
Yeah, and California is starting to come in. They're hearing us.
Yeah.
You know, there's been a lot of articles of Fredericksburg being the next Napa Valley in 15 years.
So continue down the path of how y'all decided y'all were going to pull the trigger on the winery.
So for the first time, it's funny, you said earlier that you were looking for a reason to get out or looking for the bad things in a deal.
Yeah.
Right? Something like that. We were pretty intimidated by it. And so we would say, well, if we can't get the price point to this, which was quite a bit lower than what they're offering.
But Fredericksburg is a prime real estate area as well. What year was this?
23.
So, I mean,
22, 23.
High as a kite at that time, right after COVID.
Right, exactly. And to be on 290, that is the gold mile.
Yeah.
Right? That's where the real estate jumps up quite a bit. So there's a lot of back and forth. And then we said, they were considering our offer. And we're like, okay, now we need to talk to a winemaker. Well, a wine consultant came to us through the networks of, it's a small town. The wine industry is very small. Presented to us. We loved him, fell in love with him. Great guy. He's actually my partner with Morale Patch Wine Company. And then he had a winemaker that was his partner in it out of Napa Valley. So this dude's killer. Jean Hofflinger is absolutely insane. So we're like, oh shit, okay. We have a wine consultant. We have a wine maker now who is legit, who's made 100-point wines multiple times. And then like a week later, the vineyard manager showed up and was like, hey, we can help you. It's a small vineyard. It's like 2 acres. It's about 250 cases of wine. But she was like, I can help you make this, keep this going for you.
Mm.
So now like everything is just happening organically. And we're like, man, I cannot find a reason. And then we just made this lowball offer and they accepted it.
Shit.
And I was like, whoa, okay, here we go.
Now what?
Yeah.
That sounds like how I got a coffee shop. So they took your low ball offer. They called you and said, congratulations, we're going to take it. And you're going, we've got to learn how to make wine.
Yeah, we got to figure this out. And it was a pretty easy transition initially because we used their inventory. And then we brought in some California wine because we knew it was good and we could get it much quicker than going the Texas route, knowing that our goal was to be 100% Texas at some point. But right now, we just have to have good wine.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit where it comes from. And we want our own label, right? Because we're using previous owners' labels and their designs. And we never changed the name of it, Arrowhead Creek Vineyards. One, I like the name. And two, I want it to look like we're continuing the story, right? We just took the baton and we want to make it better. But the story is still there.
So what's going on at Arrowhead Creek Vineyards right now? Tasting room, wine room.
Yeah.
Weekends are busy.
Yeah, Saturdays are pretty busy. Summertime's kind of slow. So we have the main tasting room, which is the homestead house. And then we turned a barn into what we call the flight room.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we launched Morale Patch. And so I got my helmet, a locker in there with my helmet, G-suit, flight suit. We made it very like a squadron heritage bar.
Cool.
That's kind of the vibe I wanted. And it's a 80-year-old barn, right? So we insulated it, we put up windows, and we put an AC in there, and voila.
And that's the tasting room for Morale Patch.
In either tasting room, you can have either wines. But we used Arrowhead and that flight room as a launching point for Morale Patch.
Who's running all the vineyard day-to-day operation stuff? Is that you or the mother-in-law, or y'all tag team it together?
Yeah, we tag team it. My father-in-law and mother-in-law do most of the work during the week, and we're closed Monday and Tuesdays, and Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I usually come out on Saturday and Sunday to help out.
And do y'all, do they have weddings there now?
Yeah.
So she added events to what y'all do out there?
Yeah, she did.
How's that working for her?
It's very easy. And the only issue is we don't have a lot of indoor space. So we do a lot of micro weddings, elopements, very intimate. They go down to the river, knock out that thing in like 15 minutes and then come up and drink and just have a good time. So that part's really easy. We don't do any of the coordination. We're like, here's a spot. This is what we rent it out. Knock yourself out.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's easy. Who's taught you guys how to grow the grapes and manage that operation?
From the wine consultant, the winemaker, to the vineyard manager, who we let go in 24, like a year later, which was kind of the intent. And we told her that because we wanted to start learning. Like, we got to get street cred. We don't have any wine background.
Yeah.
So let's get in there and get our hands dirty. And that's what we did. And Mark, my father-in-law, is a lot more passionate about the grape side of things. I like the behind the scenes. You know, I like to crunch the numbers. What's the problem? How do we fix it? And he's project manager. He just likes to get his hands dirty. And so he's taken over the vineyard.
Had y'all had any experience on growing anything?
Tomatoes in my backyard at one point.
Those are pretty easy.
Yeah.
Are all those vines on drip irrigation?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that helps them thrive.
Yeah.
They love that.
Right. And the best part is we have an excellent well because of the Pergamos River. And so we can control the water.
Yeah.
We don't want them to have too much water or too little water. But it's nice that you can control it because you want those roots to grow as deep as possible.
It's interesting with plant people. I owned a nursery for like 5 or 6 years, and the plant people that grow plants love growing plants, and they get so good at it and know how to manipulate those things to any which way they want. But which sucks because at the restaurant, it's hard to get people to even water the plants. Remember, we were going back to expectations.
Yeah.
And man, I've been drilling it in. Shout out to Alonso in Port Aransas that doesn't like watering my plants. So I've gone from the complete opposite of the spectrum where you have people that want to water plants, i.e. your grapes and stuff, and make them just perfect, to guys that don't even want to water. And it's like, come on, guys. But these are just issues that we face. Well, how has the past 2 years with the wine company been? What's the journey been like?
The best way I can describe it is learning how to fly in the aircraft in the air by yourself.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
With the winery?
Yeah.
Or you're just saying entrepreneurship in general?
Yes. Everything. To be honest, I had no idea how big it was going to be. I mean, just talk about taxes alone. Everything is freaking taxed.
Yeah.
Talk about what is HR. I had no, right? Even though we have a few employees, it's a totally different mentality leaving the Air Force and on the civilian side.
What's the difference between Air Force coworkers and civilian coworkers?
Generally, and in my experience, it's both sides like to bitch. That's fine. That's what we do, right? We complain. But when in the military and the Air Force side, it's, hey, we need to get this done.
Mission driven.
Copy.
Yeah.
I might not like it, but we'll get it done.
Yeah.
At the winery side, it's like, hey, we're thinking about doing this, and this is how I think we should do it. And this is why I think it's a good idea, and what I want to do is have them have some ownership, right? So there are so many, I need to be more hands off and let them do what if somebody is going to buy 4 bottles of wine and you're like, you want 6 bottles, instead of coming to me asking if they can waive the tasting fee, just do it. Just sling bottles.
Yeah.
Make them feel like they won today. Whatever you think that is. And if you think you jacked it up, we'll talk about it. But right then, I don't have time to say yes, no to every little thing.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's not good or bad. It's just different.
Employees and running a business, you could do a podcast for years on.
100%.
Years. But at the end of the day, the customer needs to have a good experience with your employees and your winery or restaurant. And I try to press that into them is that those people that drive through your front gates, the ones that come through my front door, they're the ones that give us our paychecks.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't we do the best that we possibly can to take care of those people? And really right now, the bar and customer service is so low that when somebody walks through the restaurant door and our employee says, "Hey, sir, how are you? How's your day?
Yep.
What do you have planned for the rest of your day?" That 10 seconds right there and that sentence has raised the bar to customer service better than they're going to get anywhere else, which is kind of sad. But it's easy to be above average now. And I wish they would just learn that instead of like you go to any bar and the bartender's just going to nod their head at you at what do you want?
Right.
And that's how low it's got. So it's not difficult to be very good at customer service now. And I wish that people would learn that.
Yeah, I think that's so very true. Even if it's at a loss, right? Because if they feel like they got a W, like holy cow, he just waived $50 worth of wine that actually cost me $4.
I know.
Who gives? Like, what are we even talking about here?
Yeah,
they're gonna come back and they're gonna bring friends. That's what it's about. And I just get. You look at some of our reviews. We like to, if we catch someone driving up, we like to walk outside. Shake their hand. You'll see the reviews. Like they were blown away that we walked out, shook their hand, and then walked them in. That's
great.
It took 20 seconds. It blows their mind. And we have a little vineyard dog, and she goes up to them, and they're just like, "Man, this is so family oriented. This is like our backyard. This isn't a snooty wine bar."
Well, I've said that a couple of times. You're in the hospitality business,
Yeah.
which means you're hosting guests at your house.
Yeah.
Just like I met you outside here, right?
Right.
And I don't do that I actually did it without thinking. Is how ingrained it is. But I'm hosting you here and you guys are hosting at your winery. Why wouldn't you open the front door for these guests and make them feel at home?
Yeah, absolutely.
Until the employees are like, I'm not walking out there to do that. They can come in here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. What other challenges have you come across at this winery? I need to go visit. I haven't been to Fredericksburg in a while, but I need to go check it out. It's like the atmosphere out there for people that don't know. If you're within driving or flying distance or want to make a weekend of Fredericksburg, especially Arrowhead Creek Winery, I mean, it's a place to relax.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes you, I mean, it just, your stress level goes down, especially when the wine hits your lips.
That's right. Yeah. And it's usually 5 degrees cooler.
Yeah.
It's a different environment. You feel away. And I think that's why Fredericksburg is doing so well, because it's in the trifecta and it's a driving distance from these major cities that make them feel like we're in a destination, we're away. But other challenges.
Just getting it bought was a big challenge, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's huge. And, the biggest challenge is inventory. So starting out, we only have so much cash flow. We only have so much reserve. So that reserve I have to protect. And I have this much money to buy the next round of wines. And I don't know if they're going to be good or not. Because there's a lot that happens between harvest to barrel, to crush the barrel, to bottle. And so we don't have 25, 40 different SKUs of wine. So if that one didn't do well, whatever, we can price it down to $10 and just get rid of it. That's a big struggle. And luckily for me, I have an amazing winemaker. So the trust is there and he can tweak. And as long as everything starts with the vineyard, as long as they did their job, he can make good wine from it.
Good. And dad is or father-in-law is the one who's controlling the grapes right now?
He is. Today, actually, we're harvesting. He's like, hey, get your ass down here. We're harvesting. I'm like, sorry, I'm with Tommy. I got to do this thing.
So what's the future look like for the wine company? You have Morale Patch Wine Company kind of within Arrowhead Creek.
Correct.
So y'all have actually 2 separate bottlings of wine going out of there.
Yes. Eventually, and we're starting to work on this now, they will be 2 separate entities. And I will pretty much run and grow this business is the end goal. And right now, the wine permit, everything is through Arrowhead Creek Vineyards, but it will be a separate entity soon. And, I would like a satellite tasting room, a brick and mortar for Morale Patch. It's just a totally different mentality, right? Arrowhead Creek wines, it's value, it's Texas wines. You should feel the property, the experience, the hospitality. Morale Patch Wine Company is a little different. I mean, the first tier for Morale Patch is cause. Our cause is helping veterans. That's it, period, dot. I don't know how to help veterans besides pouring a glass for them and let's have a conversation. So we try to support veteran charities that know how to support veterans. 22 a day, right? Isn't that insane? 22 veterans a day on average commit suicide.
Gosh.
And even if they're not at that level, there are so many homeless veterans, right? And these organizations like Grunt Style Foundation, Irreverent Warriors, Pink Berets, Hero Hut, like they're out there in the trenches helping these people.
Yeah.
And, we're so small. I guess such a small footprint. I can't write $100,000 check to them to help, but we will one day.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, and I want to be edgy. Like I got to be careful with Arrowhead Creek because it's family.
Yeah.
But I want to be a little edgy with this. I want to like guilt-free, whatever it takes to get attention for these veteran charities.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the first tier. The second tier is telling a story. So on the red wine, We have the P-51 Mustang, which killer. That was perfect.
Yeah.
It's my favorite aircraft. That tells, I mean, I don't have to tell you about it, but
Well, we have listeners that don't know.
So P-51 Mustang was extremely pivotal in World War II. Not only is it the sexiest aircraft that man has ever made, it turned the war for us. It allowed us to escort bombers to just absolute devastation, and and a bunch of incredible stories like the Red Tails came from that, although they flew a couple different other aircrafts. And then the white wine represents the WASP, the Women Air Force Service Pilots. Yeah. And we went up to the museum. Have you been there?
What state's it in?
It's here. It's
it's in it's Sweetwater.
Sweetwater, exactly.
I need to go through there because I pass through there all the time going to Lubbock.
Yeah. I
need to go by there, and I've stopped at that airport a couple times, but I've never gone to the museum.
Yeah,
is it badass?
Yeah, it's they got, I don't know, 4 aircraft in there.
Yeah.
The original Texan and a couple trainers, but they tell the story from start to finish. And I wanted to go to the museum director and kind of get an approval before doing this, and she was like, "Yeah, like let's do this. Let's get more exposure. Let's get that story out there." Because the World War II generation's leaving us, and so are some of these stories.
Yeah, they are.
And in my opinion, the greatest generation of all time. I mean, can anyone really argue that? We weren't talking about left or right. We were just good versus evil. I mean, that's incredible. So we went with Air Force because I'm in the Air Force, little biasy there, but we're going to do Army next, Navy, Marines, and we're going to have different stories. We're going Vietnam War, the Huey for my father, and Army nurse for the white. And we want to tell as many stories as possible.
So you'll branch those out into all different types of wine and tell the story on the bottle?
Yeah. Sometimes we might keep it. We might not change the wine because it's really not what's in the bottle. It's what's on the bottle.
True.
Right? And I don't care if it's sparkling water. I can put a patch on anything.
Yeah.
And as long as people can see it and take it home and tell that story, that's all that matters. We want to do, whiskey, bourbon, vodka, tequila.
How'd y'all come up with the patch on the bottle of wine?
So our wine consultant for Arrowhead Creek, he actually came up with the idea of putting the patch on the bottle of wine. One night we were having some wine, as you do out there, and he said, "How cool would it be if we took a patch off your flight suit and stuck it to a bottle of wine and try to sell it at distribution?" And I was like, well, we're still trying to figure out Arrowhead right now.
Yeah.
Why are we going to add another brand to it? And so I went out to my Jeep and I have all my patches. So I have my pilot training patch. I took it down. That bottle of wine that we were drinking, I glued it on that bottle of wine. I was like, oh man,
it works and it's unique.
Yeah, it pops. It looks good.
Yeah.
But there are many challenges with that.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
Right? Especially, there's no machines that are slapping that on when we have 5,000 cases of wine to do. So it's all hand labeling, and we can't go mass production with that. Also, the HEBs and the Krogers are going to be concerned that people will steal those patches.
Oh, yeah.
So right now, it's just out of the tasting room. We're in a couple of restaurants, Hangar Hotel in Fredericksburg, and a couple other small bars. But the end goal really is to get to distribution. So there's kind of 2 roads right now: distribution, HEB, Kroger.
How long does that take to get through?
Well, we were talking with HEB for a little bit. They loved the idea. We were talking to a supplier, and it was going well, and kind of the comm stopped. And I think we made it through like 3 pitches with them. And then I kind of realized, man, we were not ready for a HEB contract. I mean, they were talking about 50 stores, 500-ish cases, and you kind of have one shot with them.
Yeah.
And if we didn't deliver on this, dude, game over. Or if we deliver on it, then it goes from 50 stores to 100 stores.
Yeah.
Right? And if we just get an HEB, we're 2 thumbs up.
That'd be great.
Yeah. So I just kind of put a pause on it, and we were kind of reshuffling. couple investors. You know, we're just restructuring the whole thing and taking our time with it.
That's a good.
Yeah.
Well, what does the future hold for you guys? What are y'all working on for the future, personally and in business? Are you trying to? You've got out of the service. You still go there 6 days a month. But what's that transition been like? And then what are you looking for in the next few years? Are you going to be an airline pilot or you're full-time wino?
I don't know, man. We've only been doing this for 2.5 years.
That's a baby.
Just a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing is for certain. And as I've learned over the years, don't ever put all your eggs in one basket, right?
Yeah.
Diversify. And so I still have my apps ready to go.
Yeah.
And the one good thing with flying 6 days a month, I keep my currency.
Yeah.
I can fly a little bit more if I want. They're starting to hire more. So if this just all goes to shit, well, I'll be knocking on United's door and pray that they take me. You know, I'm just trying to balance my work life, and I have 2 kids that don't see me much because I work 7 days a week, and then I'm working the vineyard for 2 days, so 5 days a week, and then working the vineyard 2 days. So I need to reprioritize personally.
Yeah.
And I've just been on this little health kick and started working out, and that's helped out a lot with my stress and just communicating with my wife. Like, hey, you know, I know this weekend's a big weekend, but it's time to stay here. Kids want to hang out, right?
Yeah.
So right now, the vineyard isn't everything in my life. I'll do whatever I can to help it out, but I'm racking, stacking what's a priority in my life. And as far as the vineyard, man, we have all these ideas and this much money.
That is probably the foundation of most small businesses.
Yeah.
Is the same problem. I mean, we've got $1 million ideas on $50,000 budgets.
Right.
And you see it every day. And I think that's one of the things that entrepreneurs, that's one of the biggest struggles. We had a meeting this morning with a guy, you know, he was a Black Hawk pilot,
Oh, cool.
retired, almost about to retire from law enforcement, and wants to get into the aviation business. And the old saying of how do you make $1 million in aviation? It's start with 5 million. And so that's one of the, you know, that's why we do this podcast, I think, is to let people know and show that it's not just you that's going through this. We only have so much cash, but we've got these kind of ideas, and you're in the same boat as everybody else that's doing it, you know, and it's a struggle. You got to get X amount of cases of wine out or this much tasting every weekend to be able to give more money to work on these projects. Right. And it's a wild cycle. It's crazy.
I know. One thing I wish I would have done different, if I could change a few things, I would surround myself with people, you know, look yourself in the mirror. What are you good at? What are you not good at? I have this bad habit of just surrounding myself with my bros.
Yeah.
And we all think the same.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, no shit, we're not going anywhere. We're all just having the same problems in our heads. And so diversifying your immediate team, your network.
Yeah.
And I would change that.
Your network is your net worth, is what they say.
And it's so true.
Well, it's even if you want to, you know, dumb it down a little bit, it'd be like your fitness journey right now. What would you be doing if you're hanging out with 5 fat asses if you're trying to lose weight?
Right.
And so, you know, you're not going to get anywhere in entrepreneurship hanging out with guys that are, you know, working for someone else, doing concrete work or landscaping. And you're not going to get the same results if you're hanging out with, you know, guys that go to Baskin Robbins every day when you're trying to run a marathon. So it's no discredit, but you got to get in the room with like-minded people. And that's one of the things we were talking about, me going to Nashville back and forth and meeting with the business coach. And I set up a lot of stuff earlier this year. We're building 2 airplane hangars right here.
Oh, cool.
We've got projects going on. You'll see them next door, but that's me. We purchased the land. We sold the land. We're building the whole thing. And so when you hang out with people that aren't thinking big,
Yeah.
you're never going to think big. Think about it, the idiots that you were hanging out with while you were a sophomore and a junior, while your dream was to become an Airforce pilot.
Yeah.
They're not going to inspire you to do that.
Right.
And they're going to look at you straight in the face and say, Josh, that can't happen.
Yeah.
That's not you.
Right.
And so it's interesting that who you surround yourself with is who you are. The sum of the 5 people that you run around with is who you are. And maybe you go, have you met any of the big winery owners there and
Yeah.
drank with them? That's who I'd be hanging out with.
Yeah.
I'd be hanging out with people who had wine in HEB.
Right.
And how did you do that? And I'd pick their brain all day. That's how I told you that this podcast, which we're at an hour and 5 minutes already.
Really?
Yeah, but
Wow.
I want to know of a pilot's journey going into the Air Force. I love hearing the story. And it sounds like you had a lot of self-doubt on things, and you were in the bottom of the class on some of these things. And just hearing that your struggles with math, like it makes me go like, shit, maybe I could have. But, and I think that one of my favorite things to say is I just don't take no for an answer. And you never gave up on what you're doing in your pilot career. And if you want to boost this winery to wherever you want, there's only one person that you can go stare at and blame for it, and that's yourself.
Yeah.
You've got a good team and a great foundation, to make this thing go wherever you want it to go. But at the end of the day, it's up to you and the family to move this needle, and there's nobody else to blame besides yourself.
Right.
Which is sometimes a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, it is. But after you swallow it, which I did a few years ago, it doesn't hurt anymore.
Yeah.
Right? When you're okay with, I blame myself, like I caused this.
Mm-hmm.
You accept that ownership, it's liberating.
Yeah.
And then you can fix it or try to.
And the worst thing that can happen to you, assuming your health is good, is that you'll be flying international jets for a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
And probably home 15 days a month.
Yeah, true.
So it's not that bad. Based on that, one of my questions is always, what would you, Josh, tell your 20-year-old self now? What advice would you have to 20-year-old Josh at this point in life?
I would tell him to trust the process. Don't get too bogged in on all the details of the how. Just keep showing up. One of the main reasons I did the morale patch is, I always mess this up, but the Mark Twain quote, you regret the things, in the last 20 years, you regret the things that you didn't do than what you did.
Big time.
And I'm glad I jumped on this. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give it everything, and it might.
Yeah.
But I know at the end of the day, I will not regret not trying it. And so I would tell little jerk Josh, to trust the process and keep grinding.
Isn't it crazy how, I was a complete asshole when I was a kid and younger, but I didn't really have parents or guidance. And you look back now on it and you're like, jerk Josh. And it's just, I would never talk to people the way that I did then. And shit, I've had to apologize to some of them. And it wasn't, it was me, but it was no guidance at all.
Yeah.
And it sucks, but we grow up and learn. But your quote of regretting, you would regret everything you didn't try.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd rather fail than regret what we didn't give it a shot at. So, well, let everybody know where they can find Arrowhead Creek and Morale Patch Wine Company. Websites, Instagram.
ArrowheadCreekVineyard.com, Arrowhead Creek Vineyards for Instagram and Facebook, MoralePatchWineCo.com, and Morale Patch Wine Co. on both social media platforms.
And where's the physical location of this beautiful place?
Stonewall, so 13502 East 290, Stonewall, Texas is where the vineyard's at.
Which is about, what, an hour and a half out of San Antonio, hour out of Austin.
Yep.
And
Give or take, pending traffic.
it is if you have not been to Fredericksburg to go hang out with your significant other, whatever you're into these days, I would highly suggest a day trip to Fredericksburg. It is just beautiful. It's a good place to take pictures.
Yeah.
Good place to drink some wine and hang out. Do y'all have like charcuterie boards at the winery?
We have one charcuterie board, and it's like a Bavarian pretzel with meats and cheeses in it.
Cool.
Trying to get a pizza guy to get a little pizza food truck out there. Some wood fire stove pizzas, but again, that's a little bit down the road. But
We have a oven that you could borrow indefinitely and do your own pizzas.
oh yeah,
Yeah, we have. It's like a Turbo Chef oven.
yeah.
And so you can order. Man, this drives me crazy. Some people say the best pizza in Port Aransas comes from this other location. They have frozen dough, and these people just swear by it. We make our own dough at Seafood and Spaghetti Works every day. It's unbelievable. But for a winery or something where you want quick pizza,
Yes.
you can have a frozen dough with fresh ingredients for the pizza, and you just have your little sandwich spot that has all your, cheese, pepperoni, all your toppings, your frozen. Throw it in 3.5 minutes. There's your pizza.
Ooh.
Then you don't have to mess with a pizza truck.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about them being mad that it wasn't a busy Saturday.
And it's decent?
Oh, it's great.
Really?
Oh yeah, we have them come out of the food truck that we have.
Okay.
And I bought a one of those ovens for $400 at a liquidation, so you can borrow that one indefinitely.
Okay.
Until I call you and say you need it if y'all want to do pizzas out there. But I'd love to see it. I don't know what the food handling crap's like out there either.
It's easy.
Though.
We got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not terrible. Especially for a pizza. We don't need a hood or anything crazy.
Well, this is electric, so no hood.
Oh, even better.
Gas needs a hood.
Oh.
For those that don't know. But anyway, well, I enjoyed it, Josh. I love hearing your
sir.
story. I wish
Thank
you
you.
luck. We'll follow you along. I'll be out there eventually.
All right.
If there's anything else you'd like to add, thanks, Daniel, for setting us up.
He's the man.
Yeah, he
Love
does
my
a good
Daniel.
job.
Oh, he's killer.
Does a good job.
He's killer.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. Business
All right.
Under Fire episode, who knows? But I appreciate you helping me get back in the saddle again.
Yeah, you got it.
Thanks.